So, okay, here we go. Well, so welcome to our call all about 10 weeks to Sparkle Summer, Sparkling Summer, Summer Sparkle, however you want to call it. We love alliteration at this company. All the S's and B's and C's, bling, crystal, and Swarovski and sparkle. You can do all kinds of crazy alliteration. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is the fact that we basically have 10 weeks in the summer. The new catalog it ought to be out probably sometime in September. We don't have dates yet, but that does mean that we'll be able to sell the spring summer catalog all the way through the summer. And so, typically by the time we get to June in normal years, people are going, okay, it's the dog days of summer, the kids are out of school, everybody's leaving on, quote, everybody is leaving on vacation. And we're all gonna stop doing parties because no one is in town. Nobody wants to get their friends together because their friends are all gone. Or I'm gonna be away most of the summer, my kids are underfoot, I'm not gonna wanna work. Well, this year we've had the kids underfoot all spring, so that's nothing new. People are not going at quite as much on some of the more extended trips. The cruises and the all-inclusive resorts and things are not quite as much of a deal. I am seeing that there's a bigger push for road trips, which is kind of neat. And the concept of get in the car and drive someplace fun. So people are going to be going away with their families as areas begin opening up. And that's great because we need normal life. But the cool thing is that I think it gives us even more of a reason to set goals, because if we really want to build a business this summer, we really can build a business this summer. And I believe it's true in any summer. And I can remember in my first company years ago, July was always the month that was, quote, dead. And it was for all the reasons that I just mentioned. But I remember thinking to myself, well, now's my chance. If I really focused in the month of, and I was a part of a huge team. I was kind of a newbie. I was on an enormous sales team with, thousands of women. And I thought, I really want to hit somewhere in the top 10 in sales for July. And I thought, if I can focus and nobody else does, maybe I'll get a lot of parties on the calendar. And it also occurred to me that all the other companies out there that were getting parties, normally I was you have to kind of like fight other companies in a way, in a nice way, for bandwidth, right? And for hostesses. And I thought, nobody else is working. I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to focus and get a lot of parties. I ended up in the top 10 on the team that I was a part of. And I may have even been really close to number one, because I set a goal for that month of July. I was going to do so many parties. And because I believed I could get those parties, I did get those parties. And that really taught me something about the power of belief. What we believe is true is basically what is true. And if I believe it or don't believe it, I'm right. And that's the problem. And so if I say I can't get any parties, I'm right. But conversely, if I say I can get parties, I'm right too. Because pretty much what we say is actually what comes true for us. So this is where I wanted to take today and this whole week, and you'll see some things on the team page this week about this whole concept of 10 weeks of Summer Sparkle, about setting goals for the next 10 weeks. Typically we set goals for 4 weeks, 4 more weeks, this month, that month. But I like the idea of coming up with a goal for the whole 10-week period between now and, the end of August or so. It's a loose time frame, but there's something valuable about saying, okay, I think over the next 10 weeks, I want to do an average of 2 parties a week for a total of 20 parties. So sometime between now and the end of August, I want to do 20 parties. So where am I going to put them in? And I do a little calendar control. I pull out the June, July, and August calendars and I say, well, I've got people visiting here. I know I'm going to be gone this other weekend. We've got this other thing happening at some time or whatever. Wednesday nights, I always do this something or other that I'm busy with. And so you start filling in the blanks. When do I want to do parties? Where are my open spaces? The other kinds of goals have to do with dollar amounts. How much money do I want to make? in the next 10 weeks. It's kind of a fun thing to think about. Like Whitney, I know, likes to really shop a lot. Like, Whitney, what if you really wanted to ramp up your shopping? Like, there's something really big that you really wanted to shop for besides car insurance for your 16-year-old.
Trouble at home if I did that.
Right? Yeah. But it's kind of cool because in some ways you can shift your thinking to an income goal, income target, rather than a number of parties target. And that works well. So that's something else to think about. But I want you to start thinking not just about this month and earning the sparkle sneakers, which I really hope you're all focusing on, because that's $4,000 in sales, and you'll get the sneakers and the sunglasses and the tote bag. And I actually own one of those tote bags. It is the nicest string bag you will ever see in your whole life. It's so luxury. It's great. So my question for you is this: do you want to be content to maintain, or do you want to be excited to gain? Are you content to maintain your current pace for summer, which is perfectly fine? Again, as I've said many times, the only minimum we have is the one that you set for yourself, right? So that's the great thing about this. You get to decide. And you could be content to maintain. Well, what does maintain mean? Maintain doesn't have to mean do nothing. Maintain might mean, yeah, I like the idea of doing a party a week, or I like the idea of doing 2 parties a month. Whatever your maintain is, set that as your maintain, but don't let yourself off the hook. Well, I said I'm just going to maintain. I'm just going to kind of let it all, I'll just see what happens. The problem is, see what happens. It's never you never see a good thing come out of see what happens. Honestly, when I hear somebody say, I'm just going to do my best and see what happens. I mean, the problem is that tells me that they've already given up. They've already given up. They're not fighting for anything. They're not pushing toward anything. They're not going to learn anything new, because they're just going to see what happens. And it's okay. But let's not kid ourselves. You're probably not even going to maintain if you just want to see what happens. So decide, am I content to maintain, or am I excited to gain? So what does gain mean to you? I don't know. Again, this is where you get to set your own minimum. Maybe your minimum is, I want to gain. I want to do more parties than I was doing. I want to push harder because it's summer. I want to get more parties because I want to earn money for all the soccer camps this fall, or the vacation that I really want to take in October, because I know everything's going to be open by then, right? So you're going to have to decide what path you want to take and set some goals for the period of 10 weeks. We have some real advantages here. I'm becoming very aware that there are a lot of people who are doing more than one party in a night. In fact, I was telling some people last night that I had coffee with Terry O'Neill, Senior Executive Director, who's on our team, last week. And she said, this is Thursday, she said, I did 2 parties on Tuesday night. I've got 3 parties tonight, all virtual, all on Zoom. So she said, I know I'm going to get into my office tonight at 6:30 and I won't leave till 11:30. So in the span of 5 hours sitting in her office, she was going to get 3 parties done, which is crazy amazing. Wow. And she will have already done 2 parties earlier in the week. So fascinating. In fact, what I'd like to do is get her onto our team page and to go live and explain how she booked those parties on those specific days at those specific times. Did she have a same theme for each one? How did she keep them all organized? Because I think it's a really worthwhile exercise to learn how she did it. But the really cool thing is that she figured out how to make that work. And in the month of May, she beat her own record and sold over $12,000. Wow. Crazy. Never left the house, right? All of it virtual. Turned it on a dime. She was not content to maintain. She was excited to gain. Mm-hmm. So now she's adding in-home parties, so to speak, back into her calendar. She's like, I'm not so sure about this. Now I got to pack up my stuff, find somebody to take care of my 3 kids, my 3 hoodlums, and leave for the next 4 hours, right? She's always loved doing a live in-home party, so I'm sure it's going to be fine. And it's nice to get a break too, right? Because that's a lot of why, that's a lot of why moms do this business, is to get a little break and to be with other women. So I'm sure she's going to have fun. But she gave me a really great idea. So what if we find that we really want to go out and do live parties in addition to our Zoom parties right here, right? Because I've got everything pretty well plated. All I have to do is put some foam on top of each one of these trays, wrap some rubber bands around each one of these stands, fold them all up, stick them in my 31 bags, and go out the door. That's pretty much all I'm gonna have to do. Grab some catalogs, order forms, and pens, and I'm out the door. Well, what we found is that there's kind of a little bit of a happy medium between being in somebody's house and being here. And it's the idea of a trunk show. So literally out of your trunk. So I got this idea from Terry, and this is something funny, where she's not going to go into the person's house. She's literally showing the jewelry out of her trunk. So she'll have it kind of pretty well set up, maybe in her back seat. She'll grab tray by tray, show people the trays. Here's this tray, here's that tray. They can try it on if they want to. They can wear masks if they want to. They can stand 18 feet away if they want to. We're in somebody's driveway or in their garage or wherever we are, right? The jewelry never even leaves basically the car. But it's that next step for those hesitant communities to at least get used to being together for real, right? So funny story, I reached out to 7 people last night about this I call it a drive-by trunk show. I said, I'm lining up a bunch of June drive-by trunk shows where I literally have the jewelry in my trunk, and I can sit in your driveway and we can do a jewelry makes me happy hour with your friends and your neighbors. I've heard back from 5 of them, and they all said they wanted to do one. I've never had such a good response. I think it's because they know they don't have to clean their house, probably. And maybe they won't have to cook anything, because if their friends are just kind of coming over, we can work out all those details about the drinks and whatever. I mean, it's not a thing. None of them even asked. They didn't even ask, do I have to feed them anything? What do I do? The number one hesitation was, I don't know if my friends even want to come out of their house to come over to my house into my yard. I'm like, okay. First, and all these ladies lived near me, I said, first of all, I think they're all out and about, because I think I saw them all at the restaurants over the weekend. Our area is actually opening up pretty well. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they think their friends aren't going out, even though they are, which is really ironic. But anyway, we're going to have to be very flexible this summer. Some people are going to want these online parties, but we can offer those to anybody in the country or the hesitant people who live down the street. We can do a trunk show in the front yard, basically. If you want, bring a little 3x3 table, put that in your trunk over top of your jewelry. That's the first thing you pull out. Put a little tablecloth over it. It becomes your personal assistant. They sit right next to your trunk of your car. So you never have to move more than 3 feet to pull your jewelry out. You might have catalogs. If people want to look at the jewelry, you can literally take the order right there on your phone if you have to. There's actually a way, I think it's still there, that you can actually take a picture of their credit card and it'll automatically feed it into the system if you're putting an order in for a customer on your phone. So, there are lots of ways to make this very low touch, great social distancing, never even go inside the hostess's house. Now, Terry also said that she booked a pool party. The hostess was willing to invite 8 friends. She was willing to have 8 guests at her house. Now, we live in Virginia, and we are now up to 50 people for a gathering. It was 10, now it's 50. And I think we're about to get to where there is no limit, except maybe for like the huge sporting events and stuff like that. But all this to say, we can offer a series of things. And what the key is figuring out how to offer these things in such a fun way. So the way that I worded this whole trunk show thing, they were like, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I could do that, right? Not hard. It's an hour. It's in their driveway. Their friends get to come over. They get to see them. You're going to know that some of the people who are already out and about, you're going to know who they are. They're really social ones. They're not afraid of anything. They're the ones who are going to say, well, just do it in my house. I don't mind. My friends can come and wear their masks. One of the things that we noticed last night is that if those people are on Facebook, before you offer anything to them, you're going to want to find out what their life is like right now. If their posts are super chipper and upbeat and they're happy, then you know you can offer them pretty much anything and they're going to be fine and they're going to be able to handle it, right? The ones who are posting this kind of scary stuff, the things that are heavy-hearted, those gals are not going to be too excited about doing a jewelry party right now. You could try offering just to see if you can brighten their day a little bit, but they might not be your best hostesses at the moment. So you're going to be looking for the cheerful optimists who are socially engaged right now and are ready to have some fun. And that's where a little bit of scoping on the Facebook page is helpful. The other thing, for those of you who have been around a while, go to your past hostesses, the ones that you haven't seen in a while, and say, you have been such a great hostess in the past. I wanted to be the first to offer to you either a drive-by trunk show or some other variation on the theme so that you can be the one to start getting your friends together. Do you want to, you know, because they already know the drill. They're easier to book a party with. So if you have past hostesses, they are good ones. They're good ones to go to. And then the last component is always the fun one every summer. It's the fun themes. It's the flip-flops and fun. It's the sangria sandals and sparkle, sangria sandals and Swarovski, barbecue and bling, barbecue or bikinis and bling if they have a pool, or if your pool opens, your club opens and people can do things there, then that becomes a great venue. And that's, again, where you have to kind of know who the people are, like where they live and what they do, and sort of tailor some of the themes for them to make it, because the goal is simply fun, right? We don't want it to be a panic or a stressor. We want them to see the possibilities and what's fun. But here's the key, you know, for me, I wrote down the other day, sneakers, sneakers, sneakers. I mean, I'm determined. I don't have all the parties on my calendar yet, but I have those 5 ladies who said yes, they wanted one. I booked one this morning. I got a date this morning from one of them from last night, and she wanted a date that I'm not even in town. I wasn't thinking. I'm going to be gone for 5 days toward the end of June, and she wanted one of those days. Like, I'm not going to be in town, so we're not doing it until July. But I thought, you know what? That's 2 live parties that I already have booked for July. I'm going to be really happy about that. I will be able to backfill June. I took it. I'm like, great, let's do it. That's be so much fun. She was a past hostess. The key is don't let yourself off the hook. Don't become complacent. You deserve to get to the end of the summer and say, you know what? I did what I always told my kids to do, which is to set a goal and stick to it. I want to prove to my kids that I can get what I really want. And most importantly, prove to myself that I can get what I really want. Here's what's cool. There is going to be a day when this is going to turn around enough in our company that we're going to have a party. I mean, we're going to have a company trip to look forward to. Maybe it's a special leader training that we do at Disney. I don't know. We've done a lot of them, things like that, that every one of you would be eligible for. And if you're building your repertoire, so to speak, and your contacts faithfully and consistently over the summer, by the time they announce this next trip, you're going to have a lot of people under your belt that you've already served well, who already love you, are committed to you and your small business, and who are going to be excited to book a party with you, refer their friends to you, because you're going to be working on earning a trip. And you're going to be holding up that little bikini top going, I'm going to Jamaica, or wherever it is that we're going to go. And I'm looking to book more parties so I can go to Jamaica. And you're holding up your cute little bikini top, right? That's what we do. And you'll have people to share that with, because you will have spent the whole summer either maintaining or deciding to gain. Okay, so it's super important. Super important. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I'd love to hear ideas and thoughts about specifically maybe summer themes, fun little names of what parties might be, or summertime venues even would be fun to hear about. Don't all jump at once. Angela.
I know Patricia's got some stuff going on, and I'm very curious to see what it is this month after she blew it out of the water last month. What's happening over there, Pete?
Honestly, I have several parties, but right now I'm kind of stuck. I have a party that is every day I look in the party and there's more people. Right now there's 66 women.
Oh, that one.
And the sales are $225. I offered free shipping to women and they're not biting. One woman text, and then I text tonight. I did even like the hostess doesn't want to do a live. So I went and just kind of briefly did a live to like show them the versatility of the pieces.
Yeah.
No one's like doing anything, saying anything. I don't know how to get these 66 women. I'm like cringing inside because I don't know what to do.
That's so funny. Well, remember, we just did get past the weekend, and the weekend, I think for a lot of people where the weather was so good, we're out and about.
Yeah. So
And today's only Monday, so maybe we can go back in.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I could right now. I'm sitting at like I think $700 in sales for the month.
There you go.
And I'm just I know it's good, but like at this point last month I was at like 2,000 or 3,000.
I remember. I know.
And I was already working on party like 4.
That's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal.
So I'm sorry, I may disappoint, but I'm trying.
That's okay. I had one like that. So I'm curious to see how you pull it out. I ended up letting it run a lot longer than I normally would. Mm-hmm. And then I ramped up my posting. So I was posting like 4 times a day, 5 times a day.
Yeah, I've been ramping it up too. And yeah, I'm like, this party's not ending until we get some sales.
Yeah, no, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Well, you're still doing great. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. And I have 2 parties that were going to be in this month and they moved to July as well. So that's kind of a bummer, but we'll see, because I really want those sneakers and those aviators.
You know what's so great is that the virtual world goes 4 times faster than the in-person world. So the party that would have taken us 2 weeks to get on the calendar, we can do in 4 days. That's the beauty of it. We could get to even, because the 30th is a Tuesday. It could be Saturday and you still book a party for Monday or Tuesday. So we've got all kinds of time. In fact, you could do a couple different layers. If you have a party this week, you could be booking a party for next week from that one, and 2 more parties for that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday toward the end of the month. So this is so much. It's just so completely different. It blows my mind. I still have to remind myself of how different this is. Each week can take care of itself in that way. It's pretty crazy.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 themes that I don't think you mentioned. Flip-flops and shop.
Which one was that, Cheryl?
Flip-flops and shop.
Ooh, that's cute.
And sandals and Swarovski.
I like that.
2 other ones.
Flip-flops and shop. You can do that live or virtual. Mm-hmm. And you could say, prize for the cutest flip-flops or something. That's cute. One thing that I am noticing too that I want to mention, Zoom parties and in-person parties in the summer tend to do better on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as far as attendance goes. It's not to say that you can't do something on the weekend, but I'm noticing the traffic is crazy out here on the weekends, which tells me that people are out and about. And Kristen Shires, she just hopped off. I don't know where she went because I lost her. She and I and a couple others up in Annapolis were out to dinner on Friday night. It took 2.5 hours to get a seat at the restaurant. Yeah, because everybody was there. Which tells me that nobody, in quotes, was home on a Zoom, right? So that's the difference. And so we have always found in the summer that when we say to a hostess, weeknights tend to work better because you're not losing the people who are leaving to go on vacation, the ones who are coming back from vacation, or the ones who are just going away for the weekend. So, so that's why I was trying to book mostly Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with these gals that want the trunk shows.
Betsy, a question for you. So when you do your stuff, do you do like a Facebook like a Facebook group and a Zoom? You do the combo? Because I've been wondering about the ladies that are just doing like a Zoom or just doing, some sort of one, like kind of like a physical party where it all happens at once, and kind of wondering who's having the more success, or is it a combination depending on the host and depending on the group? Because is that what Terry's doing, where she's just doing the one-stop shop kind of dealio?
I'm sure she's doing a Facebook component. I mean, and even when we were back doing live parties, remember, we would usually do a Facebook event if that's what the hostess wanted, because that was the way of inviting people if she didn't want, because then it was backup. We had a little more control over what we could see was going on, as opposed to giving the hostess all the free reign of inviting people, and we couldn't see who she was inviting. This way with the Facebook event page, we have a way of seeing it, and also capturing some of their information and engaging some of them, even if they can't even come. So yeah, when I do a Zoom, I have a Facebook event or event page or a Facebook group attached to it that's promoting the Zoom link. Here's the time, the date. Don't forget tomorrow night. Oh, don't forget tonight. And I'm posting pictures, and I'm trying to engage them in the meantime. Same thing as a in-person. And that's what I'm trying to point out to these gals that I'm doing the drive-by trunk shows with, that your friends who can't come can be on the Facebook event page and see a lot of the jewelry. We can take pictures, they can shop, they can have the shopping link. It's not just the 5 who come into your driveway. And we pray that it doesn't rain that night, whatever. That kind of thing.
Bring it easy up.
There you go. My friend Heather works for Pure Romance, and she actually she did a prototype for the company. They basically got her one of those big side entry vans, and they outfitted it with shelving along the walls. It's just 2 seats in the front, and then you walk into it from the side, and you step up, and it has lights and shelving on both sides with all of her products. And people would come in and they would shop. Yeah. I forgot, there was really some really fun, cheeky word name for the thing. It was really funny.
I think you need one of those, Betsy.
We all need a sparkle mobile, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sparkle van. Yeah. Any other ideas for summer? Also, would anybody like to share? Are they content to maintain, which is great, or are you excited to gain? It's just fun. Love to hear.
Gain.
But roadblocks. Lots of them.
Okay.
Roadblocks make you stronger.
Yeah. I reached out to 8 people last night, and I got 8 no's. So that was hard. I got 8 no's.
8 no's.
So it's people are weird right now. New York is a mess.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Yeah, it seems like, honestly, like at the end of May was tough, because it was just like what you were saying, like I would have a Zoom on the weekend, when earlier in the month the weekends were good, and it was like, it was funny because when it was like raining and glooming, like the party that I had that had $1,800 in sales, the Zoom party was on a Sunday, and it was gloomy and ugly outside, and so I had so much participation. And then the following weekend I had a party and nobody showed. Right. And so like now it's just like everybody's finally, I feel like they all feel free, and so they're going out there and they're risking it, and now nobody wants to hang out. And I think a lot of people told me that they're kind of zoomed out, so it's kind of trying, that's why I've been trying to do like the Facebook room instead, to see if maybe they'll be a little more open to it versus getting on Zoom.
Maybe.
So just trying to be creative to see what you can do to, get them to want to be doing it, And so I think that's a huge challenge that we need to
It is.
overcome somehow.
And especially if they're out doing things on the weekends with the pretty weather, the weeknights end up being better in general. Especially now most kids are done with school. And I think that was a tether for a lot of families to keep them from doing a whole lot of stuff. And now they're hitting the road a little bit more in some parts of the country. So again, you know, we can't allow any of this to be discouragement. It needs to become curiosity, like, what's different? Okay, let's think about this, because we're dealing with major cultural shifts here. We're dealing with sociology. What are the habits of people? Well, what are the new habits of people this week? We've never seen such shifts before. How do we become a great student of what's going on and shift what we have to offer so that it matches where people are? The beautiful thing is that we have a lot of different ways of doing it. We can't take it as discouragement. We just have to take it as, okay, I know there's a way. I know the way these women want our jewelry. I know they do. Of course they do. They always have, and they always will. It's a question of how do I deliberately figure out how to meet them where they are instead of expecting them to come to where I am. So it's just fun. And that's why, you know, we do these kinds of calls and we stay in touch and we try to figure it all out, because it's going to keep shifting and keep shifting and keep shifting. And we just have to stay really nimble and very flexible. And that's a good thing. I mean, it's good for us to be that way.
So looking forward to getting back out to live parties.
I know. Cheryl, up where you are, do you have any coming up, or are you sensing any more openness?
Yeah, in fact, I reached out to a lady over the weekend who was scheduled to have one back when all this started, and then she wanted to just wait till because she wanted to have it live out on her patio. So I reached out to her, and she was going away for the weekend, but she said probably July she wants to shoot for having one.
Right.
So, yeah.
And she went away for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Right. And now they're doing that, whereas before nobody was doing that. So
Right.
we're seeing the difference, and that's okay. We are good. We can shift. We have all the tools for shifting, but that's great, Joe. I mean, that'll be right around the corner.
Yeah.
So that's good. Neat. Any last thoughts, ideas, themes? Maintain and gain? Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you all, ladies. As always, you know, we learn so much from each other and just chewing on all these ideas. Tonight, I'm going to post on the team page this concept of the 10 weeks of Summer Sparkle and setting a goal. And I'm going to ask the basic question: are you content to maintain, or are you excited to gain? Because I want everybody to answer that question. And then regardless of what the answer is, I'm going to ask each person individually on that thread, what does that mean to you? Because I want everybody to see what it means to everybody else, to get ideas. And I'm hoping it'll create a really good conversation for all of us by tomorrow. So, and then the last thing is Thursday night. Some of you heard, but Thursday night, Kay Higby is going to be doing, I'm so excited, so sweet of her to offer. She's doing a live business opportunity. So we're calling that Spread the Sparkle Summer Event. Invite your friends. Who do you think would be great at this? Who do you think just needs some fun? Who is just so down in the dumps and normally is not? Who needs money? Who lost their job, but you know, is an optimist? Remember, we're looking for those optimistic connectors. We're looking for people. I don't care what their background is. No experience is great, but those people who have that optimistic perspective. I mean, every one of you on this call is by nature an optimist. And you probably wouldn't even said, oh, I'm an optimist, but you are, because if you think you can sell jewelry, then you're an optimist. If you want to be around other women, you're an optimist. So be on the lookout for women like that you would just love to work with, and just invite them. I mean, somebody invited you to learn about it. May as well risk it all, risk the biscuit, and share it with a lot of people, because you never know who needs it right now. we have a lot to offer, especially right now, to a lot of people. People who would have never looked at us before now are going to look at us because we can do virtual parties. They don't want to leave their houses, but they would be great online. So be thinking even broader than ever before. Some of the younger girls, the 20-somethings, who wouldn't have the social connections to do parties in women's homes, and their friends might not want to have their other friends over for a jewelry party in their apartments, but they'll shop online and have a lot of fun doing it. So think about who are all these people that you know that you can invite to this thing on Thursday night. I'm actually starting to think about the kids that graduated with my kids now, because they're all 23, 24, 25, 26 years old. I'm like, well, they're perfect for me now. They're the perfect age. So think outside of the box, because we have that much more to offer to people than ever before. So that's Thursday night. And we'll be doing prizes that night for the guests. But if your guest wins a prize, you win the prize too. So just so you know that, because we wanted to encourage all of the consultants to invite friends. So that's it. I hope you'll have a great night. I love seeing your faces. Thank you that all of you are on video. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. That is such a treat. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, have a great night, everybody. Love seeing you, and we'll talk to you shortly.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks.